What if you had a senior engineer, a research analyst, a copywriter, and a software architect all available instantly, and they never got tired, never lost context, and got meaningfully better every few months? That is Claude. Built by Anthropic with safety at its core, Claude is not a search engine and it is not a chatbot. It is a reasoning partner that reads, writes, codes, plans, and debates across the full complexity of real work. Over 500 million artifacts have been created. Millions of developers run Claude Code daily. In this tutorial, you will learn everything from first login to autonomous agent pipelines. Let us start. Claude comes in 3 model tiers designed for different needs. Haiku is the fastest and cheapest, ideal for high-volume classification, quick replies, and API automation, where speed matters more than depth. Sonnet 4.6 is the sweet spot, deep capability at a cost that makes production deployment practical. Opus 4.6 is the flagship. Released February 5th, 2026, it scored 72.5 on SWE Bench, the industry benchmark for real-world software engineering tasks, and supports 1 million tokens of context, with up to 128,000 output tokens per response. That means an entire large code base, a year of email threads, or a 1,000-page legal corpus fits in one conversation. All models support text, images, documents, and extended thinking. You can reach Claude across 5 environments that all share the same underlying engine. The web chat at CLAUDE.ai needs nothing but a browser. Sign up free and start in 30 seconds. The VS Code and JetBrains plugins give you Claude inline with diff views and file references. The desktop app manages multiple parallel sessions, visual diffs, and cloud tasks. Claude Code on the web runs in isolated Anthropic VMs, so long tasks keep running when your laptop is off. And the terminal CLI gives you the full agentic loop locally. For developers, the Anthropic API at platform.anthropic.com powers all these surfaces and lets you embed Claude in your own products. One Claude, every surface. Your CLAUDE.md files, settings, and MCP servers work across all of them. The Claude AI interface is deliberately minimal. A chat window, a file upload button, and a growing sidebar of powerful features. Start typing and Claude responds. Paste a PDF, spreadsheet, image, or URL and Claude reads it immediately. The real power shows when Claude creates artifacts, a dedicated panel that opens to the right of the chat with live interactive output. Charts update as you refine them. React components render in real time. SVG graphics appear instantly. This is not a static code response you copy-paste into a tool. It is a live preview you interact with directly. Over 500 million artifacts have been created by users since launch. Everything renders in a sandboxed environment so you can experiment without risk. Artifacts deserve their own section because they change how you work. Instead of asking Claude for code and copy-pasting it somewhere else, Claude builds the thing right in front of you. Tell Claude you want a sales pipeline dashboard. It writes, the React component, the chart renders in the panel, you say, make the bars blue and add a forecast line, and Claude updates it live. Ask for a mermaid diagram of your architecture, and you get an interactive diagram you can share immediately. Artifacts support React apps, HTML pages, SVG graphics, mermaid diagrams, code snippets, and Markdown. You can publish artifacts publicly, embed them in other tools, and remix community artifacts from the catalog at Claude.ai, available on free, pro, and team plans. Claude is exceptional at the hardest parts of knowledge work, reading dense material and producing clear, structured output from it. Drop in a 100-page PDF and ask for the 5 highest risk findings in bullet form. Paste a legal contract and ask which clauses could hurt you in a dispute. Give Claude a raw transcript and ask it to extract every decision and every owner assigned. A key insight: Claude reads and writes better when you give it a role. Try: you are a senior product manager reviewing a technical spec. Flag anything that would surprise an engineer. The role activates Claude's judgment rather than just its summarization ability. Claude translates across dozens of languages with domain-specific vocabulary in medicine, law, and finance. Claude sees, uploads screenshots, photos, charts, diagrams, whiteboards, or handwritten notes, and Claude reads them as fluently as text. This opens powerful workflows. Paste a screenshot of a bug in your UI and ask Claude to diagnose it from the visual alone. Upload a competitor's pricing page and ask for a comparison table. Drop in a whiteboard photo from a meeting and get structured notes and action items. You can upload up to 20 images per conversation turn. Claude also understands diagrams and flowcharts, which makes it excellent for architecture reviews. Paste a system diagram and ask, what are the single points of failure here? For developers, the Computer Use API lets Claude interact with a virtual desktop. Click buttons, fill forms, navigate applications, and take screenshots to verify its own work. Two features make Claude dramatically more useful over time: projects and memory. A project is a persistent workspace where you attach files, a codebase, brand guide, product spec, and write system instructions that apply to every conversation inside it. No more re-explaining context. A tip: write your system instructions as if briefing a new employee on their first day. Include what the project does, who the audience is, what tone to use, and what to never do. Memory works at the account level. Since March 2026, it is available to all users, including the free tier. Claude remembers your communication style, preferences, and ongoing work across separate conversations. View, edit, and delete individual memories in Settings under Capabilities. Together, projects and memory mean Claude compounds in usefulness the more you use it. Most people get mediocre results from Claude because they write vague prompts. The single most impactful habit is being explicit about format, length, and audience. Instead of summarize this report, try summarize this report in 5 bullet points for a non-technical executive, each bullet under 20 words. Focus on financial risk. The difference is dramatic. Another powerful technique: the negative constraint. Tell Claude what not to do. Do not use jargon. Do not suggest we do more research. Do not end with a call to action. Negative constraints are often more effective than positive instructions because they carve out exactly the space you want. Combine format, length, audience, and at least one negative constraint in every serious prompt, and you will cut your revision cycles in half. For complex prompts with multiple moving parts, instructions, context documents, examples, constraints, use XML tags. Claude was trained on structured prompts and parses XML reliably. Wrap your reference material in context tags. Put your task in instructions tags. Wrap examples in example tags. The critical benefit: Claude stops confusing which part of your message is data versus which part is the task. Without tags, Claude sometimes follows the style of a document you pasted rather than your actual instructions. With tags, those sections are cleanly separated. For system prompts in the API, XML is essential. You can define a persona in a persona tag, list rules in a rules tag, and provide reference data in a data tag, all parsed independently. Prompt engineering with XML is composable. Update one block without rewriting everything. 3 more techniques produce consistent gains. First, context placement. Put long documents at the top of your message before your question. Research shows this improves response quality by up to 30% compared to putting the question first. Second, few-shot examples. Instead of describing the output style you want, show Claude 2 or 3 concrete examples of input and ideal output. This is more powerful than any instruction for tasks with subtle tone requirements. Third, chain of thought activation. Add think step by step before answering, or write your reasoning before giving your answer. Claude catches its own logical errors mid-thought and produces measurably better answers on hard problems. Use all 3 together on your most important prompts, and the quality jump is substantial. Extended thinking is Claude's deepest reasoning mode. When enabled, Claude thinks for seconds to several minutes before responding, working through the problem step by step in a visible chain of thought. You watch Claude reason, testing assumptions, catching contradictions, revising intermediate conclusions, then delivering a final answer grounded in that work. Use it for multi-step math, architectural trade-offs, legal analysis, strategic planning, and any task where the first intuitive answer is often wrong. On Claude.ai, toggle it in the composer. Via the API, set the thinking parameter with a budget in tokens. A practical rule: use extended thinking anytime you would spend more than 10 minutes solving the problem yourself. Available on Sonnet 4.6 and Opus 4.6. It costs more tokens, but the quality lift on hard problems is decisive.